Hi, Taylor.
Hi.
What can I help you with today?
Oh, I need some help factoring an expression. Here, I'll type it for you.
Okay.
Can you
O-
see it?
Okay, yes. So I see that you've got, I'm going to write it out to make sure we're talking about the same thing. So I see 2x squared plus 3x plus 1. Is that what we're talking about?
Correct.
Okay, so when we're talking about factoring a trinomial, and it's a trinomial because it has three separate distinct terms, there's a term, there's a term, and there's a term, we can think about a trinomial being the product of two binomials. And when I talk about the product, I'm talking about, of course, multiplication of two different binomials. And a binomial is a term that has two, it is an expression that has two separate terms in it. So what we're going to look at first is finding out what the first term in each binomial is, and that comes from looking at what the first term in the trinomial is. And kind of the thought process we go through is, what two things can I multiply together that are going to give me 2x squared? And ideally here, when we're talking about this, we're talking about whole numbers or integers that we're going to get as a product of two numbers that's going to give me 2. And of course, if you think
Right.
about what two numbers can I multiply together to give me 2, well, let's start with the obvious ones, which is 2 and 1. And then what two things give me x squared? Well, that's going to be x here and x over here. So this becomes 2x times 1x, which is my 2x squared. Okay, so we're off to a good start. Then
Right.
we're going to look at what goes as the second term of the binomial, and that comes from looking at the last number in our trinomial, and this trinomial, by the way, is in what we call standard form. So it's the squared term at the first position, the x term at the last, in the middle position, and then just a number as in the last position. So we're looking for what two things can I multiply together to give me 1, and of course the obvious answer there again is 1 and 1. So these two here are going to end up with my value of a plus 1. Okay, then somehow what we've got working here in our binomials, two binomials, they have to end up giving me a sum of 3x here. And if you look at the sign in front of the 3x and you look at the sign here, the rule says that if both of these are plus, then the sign of both binomials, the middle term, or sorry, the last term is going to be a plus on both of those. So if you go back to this concept of FOIL, which is first, outside, inside, and last, it tells us the order in which we multiply things in our binomials. So this is our first term, 2x times 1x, which gives us our 2x squared. The outside here is this one times this one, 2x plus 1, which is 2x. Our inside terms are the two inside components of our binomials, which is 1 times 1x, which gives me 1x. And then the last terms are the last terms in the two binomials, which is our 1 times 1, which is our 1. Then we combine like terms if we have any. In this case, we do. We have 2x squared plus 2x plus 1x yields 3x plus the 1, and you'll notice that we get right back to our original trinomial when we do our check on it. So the factors of 2x squared plus 3x plus 1 are 2x plus 1 times 1x plus 1. Does that help?
Yes, it does.
Okay, any questions about that, or does that make sense?
No, that makes sense.
Okay, very good.